Hello my friends, how are you? Welcome to episode number 8 of Feel Good Friday TV, where we do some snappy thought starters, techniques, top tips for you to think about to get set up for your most relaxed, most positive weekend. So today, what do I want to talk about today? A really important topic for you, and that is about being true to yourself. And specifically, like, how do you know when you're actually doing that? It's a kind of phrase that you see it in all these self-help articles, and you see it all over the place. Just be true to you. But how do I know if I'm doing that? I feel like I'm doing that, but am I doing that? Am I living my life true to myself? How do you know? So it's a really important principle. It leads to a much more peaceful, happy life. So I thought I would give you today 5 ways that you can know if you are living life really in integrity with yourself, feeling really true to yourself. And you can tick them off. See how many you get out of the 5. Would love to know if you're on live with me. Give me hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Hearts and likes are always much appreciated because we get that good energy thing going. And it's all about feeling good. Okay, so number 1 is that you feel that you can give yourself permission to change your mind. Okay, so you might have been going down a particular course or path in whatever area of life that is, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't feel right for you anymore. It's not okay for you anymore, and you feel strong enough within yourself to change course, even though other people might not necessarily understand that decision, and that you're able to do it without calling it, quitting or beating yourself up about it, or even calling it a mistake, right? Like, it might have been right once and it might have served you at that point in time, but it no longer serves you. It's not what you need for yourself in your life anymore. It's no longer serving you, and therefore you are able to say, do you know what, I am going to exit this thing and I'm going to choose something different for myself that is a better fit for me now, and that you're able to give yourself permission to change your mind without beating yourself up. Okay, do we like that? Number 1, give me a heart, give me a like, give me a little comment if that resonates. All right, so number 2 to look out for, as kind of like a check sheet, really, to say, yeah, I'm living pretty much in integrity with myself here, is that you have perhaps outgrown a relationship or a situation, and you're not kind of clinging to it or feeling guilty about it, right? Because here's the thing, in life, it might be awkward socially, but the fact is, life is about growth. If we're not growing in some way, actually we're doing life wrong, okay? So we're all growing at different rates and different paces. We're like on different parallel tracks, right? And so there's certain situations and relationships in life where, you're growing in a way that really mirrors each other, and and that's easy and it's sustainable. But then there may be other things where you've gone like this, and that situation or that person hasn't, and you're no longer fitting together. And you know what, that is okay too. It might have gone the other way. They might have gone woo, and you're back here, right? So it's knowing that there's the perspective, not everything lasts forever. Some things do, but not everything does. And even when that's socially awkward, that is okay. That is okay. So we're never behind, we're never in front, but we can release attachments that we've had. It might even be a physical thing, it might be a location, could be anything. We can release it with thanks and with love, without just trying to cling on to what was, okay? If you're going to have growth in your life, and if you're following me, and you are into personal growth, obviously I'm a personal growth junkie. If you're one of my Wellbeing Warrior members, if you are one of my Wellbeing Wednesday readers, there's an aspect of you that is really interested in personal growth. And so you cannot have growth in life without releasing some attachment. So being able to be true to you and know that that is part of the process is a big tick. Obviously we can do it with compassion, right? But we can still move forward. All right, so number 3 in terms of a checklist for you of living true to yourself. Third one, I would say, is that you have reached a place of peacefulness and realization that life doesn't need to and will not feel happy 100% of the time, and that is okay, right? That the pursuit of happiness is something that is inbuilt into all of us as human beings, right? And that is part of our quest and our drive for more, and what keeps us moving forward and being kind and compassionate humans. But if we believe that happiness as an emotional state should be our 100% emotional state 100% of the time, it's very hard for us to actually live true to ourselves, because no one will be at 100% happiness 100% of the time. As humans, we are programmed in, it is written into our code that we will also experience other emotions, ones that are less comfortable to experience. So they might be things like grief, sadness, anger, frustration, irritation, right? We're meant to experience those emotions. They feel very different from happiness. If we believe we're meant to feel happy 100% of the time, then we won't use those emotions and the messages that are contained within them. If we're angry about something, okay, that's good information. There's something in our life that needs attention. You know, if we are grieving and crying, that is good information that we are missing, or we have lost something that is of incredible importance to us that needs to be honoured, right? That there is messages inherent in the emotions that are not happiness. Boredom, okay? Boredom is a message that we are not finding stimulation in our lives at this moment in time, and we might need something new. Okay, but if we feel like we should be happy 100% of the time, then what we will do is, instead of actually listening to the information that's powerful and useful in these other emotions, what we will do is we will try and block them out so that we're not really feeling them. Okay, so give me a little heart or a like if these things sound familiar. We will block out feeling bored or pissed off or tired or angry or frustrated by a few little extra glasses of wine, so a little bit of drinking, maybe a little bit of overeating, some mindless chippies in front of the telly, a bit of over-screen consumption, whether that's here or whether that's Netflix, hours of it, box sets, blanking everything else out, over-scrolling, hours on Instagram. Some people block it out with excessive exercise or excessive working, okay? Workaholics blocking out uncomfortable feelings elsewhere, okay? So if we can let go of that premise that we should be happy 100% of the time, what we can do is we can stop blocking out the emotions that are not happiness, listen to what they have to inform us of, make some little course corrections, and therefore live far more true to ourselves and to what our inner self really wants and the guidance that we are actually getting. Okay, I'm gonna have a little sip of water before we do the last 2. Let me know what you think so far. Are these helpful? Are these useful? Particularly that third one, does that ring a few bells? Are you more of an overworker? Do you like a wine? Would you over exercise? Would you sit down in front of a box set? Would it be the chippies? You know, we all have our methods of blanking out emotions that are not happiness, right? Instead, let's use the messages that they're giving us, okay? Are you with me? All right, fabulous. Okay, 2 more for you, because Feel Good Friday is about really snappy psychology, snappy self-care. Number 4, when we are living in a way that feels really true to who we are like now, not who we were 10 years ago or 15 years ago, or who our parents or whoever expect us to be, but when we are living in integrity with ourselves, we get to a place where we understand that some people like us and some people don't, even when we're really nice people, and you know what, that's okay. We all love to be liked. I love to be liked. Give me a heart and a like. We all love to be liked. But realistically, again, we're not going to be liked by all the people all the time. Firstly, there are 7 billion people on the planet, okay? So just mathematically, it's not going to happen. However, a fine, fabulous, kind, caring, considerate, people-pleasing person you are, you cannot please all the people. And secondly, people have got their own shit going on. They've just got their own shit going on. And so you can just get caught up in the bin. Maybe they treat you in a really dismissive way, or they're not really listening to you, or whatever it might be. They're not meeting your expectations, but actually it's got nothing to do with you, okay? Because they're just in their own stuff. So the more we can learn to be okay with the fact that some people will like us, some people won't, and that is just life, the more peaceful we can be about showing up as ourselves and knowing that the vast percentage of people probably will be positive, but some people won't. And you know what? That's fine. We cannot be everyone's cup of tea. And if we were, then the world would be a very boring place. It's that variety that does make it interesting, gives us all something to talk about. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 5, okay, is that when you have made a really firm decision or come to that point in your life, that chapter in your life where you really are living in integrity with yourself, you are showing up as yourself, you will set far better boundaries. Okay, so this is something that we see over and over again in my coaching academy, Wellbeing Warriors, my life coaching academy. We have a module called the Boundary Foundry, which is all about constructing strong boundaries and then about actually holding those boundaries. And the more you are true to yourself, the easier in life it is to hold those boundaries regardless of those consequences. And that's obviously something that we see in the academy every day. And when you start being able to set and hold boundaries, you can live in such a peaceful fashion, because guess what? You are not setting boundaries just to mess with other people and to ruin their day, okay? The boundaries are actually just about you making a decision really firmly and really clearly on what you need for yourself to be safe, okay? And then when you've done that, what other people do with that information is really up to them, okay? 95% of people, what members find all the time are Wellbeing Warriors, is they're like, oh my God, I actually just not actually told people what the boundary was, so no wonder they were not really respecting it, right? But so 95% of people go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. If you just said, of course I could do that for you, no problem. I will do that going forward. You will get a percentage of people who will try and undermine that boundary, who will disregard that boundary, who will push back at you at that boundary. And isn't that fascinating piece of information, right? Because you can see that what they want is more important to them than you honouring your own boundary, and you can therefore make decisions accordingly. And sometimes the consequences are, they can be quite big consequences, sometimes they're quite small consequences. But when you are living true to yourself and you're just like, but that is my line, beyond this I won't tolerate it for myself, that is not okay for me. So unless we are going to do this thing in this manner, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be proceeding. It's very uncomplicated, not just for other people, but it's an incredibly uncomplicated way to live for yourself. Once you can not just define your boundaries, but be really comfortable and peaceful standing by them, no matter other people's reactions, you really are in a place where you're like, do you know what? I am living increasingly true to myself and what I need for myself this chapter of my life. Okay, so hopefully that has given you a little bit of something to think about as you move through the weekend, and hopefully you're feeling good this Friday. I would love for you to think about those 5 kind of tick sheets. Any comments or questions you've got on that, pop them below. If there is a topic you would like me to do on Feel Good Friday TV that would be helpful for you, let me know as well. I have been coaching for over a decade now, thousands of smart, amazing women. And so if there is anything you want, a little bit of snappy self-care, let me know below. If this video has really resonated for you, I would super love for you to share it if you feel that there are people around you who could really benefit from a little bit of thinking about these points. That would really be amazing. We've got some freebies just to get you started on your self-care journey, which I will pop a link to below. So if you would like to get a little burst of inspiration in your inbox each week in Wellbeing Wednesday, I'll pop a link below and you can sign up and we'll give you some nice wellbeing freebies as well, just to get you moving on that self-care journey. Because self-care, what I find is it's all just loads of ads about how big your bum is, whether you can fit in your jeans, what you are putting on your plate, and generally just making women feel bad about falling off the wagon. For me, that is not what self-care is about. Okay, for me, self-care is 4-dimensional: mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. Okay, so learning about how you tick is the foundation of making great decisions, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually too. So I will pop a link for some freebies for you below. If you have joined me live today, thank you so much for joining me for Feel Good Friday TV. Have an amazing day and an amazing weekend. And I will see you soon. Thanks so much. Bye.